Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of FDL Central, where we celebrate our community by discussing the most recent FDL action from the previous week and look forward up ahead to all the upcoming FDL action. I'm your host, Debbie, and I am joined alongside two very grateful special co hosts. The first one being KJ. KJ, how are you doing today?
I am doing okay, but Debbie, I got to tell you, I'm angry. I am very angry, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But besides that, I am happy to be here. Thank you for having me on the show, as always.
Of course, it's always a pleasure to have you here on the show. And with that being said, our next co-host is the legend himself, Rhino Boy. Rhino, how you doing today?
It's a pleasure to be with you, Debbie, once again. I'm doing very, very well, thanks. I've had a bit of a busy day, but I would always choose to end it with an FDL Central, so I can't wait to get into this.
Perfect. Those are just the words I like to hear. And now it is time to introduce my guest for today. I have to give a lovely introduction here because we are joined by a fellow friend of the show of FDL and a friend of mine. He's been around since the absolute start of the league and continues to make the playoffs season after season after season.
That's why I'm
He's
angry.
he gets it done yet again this season with a 5-5 record in Elite League with his
Shock.
Monkeys roster, a franchise that he has been managing for quite a while now. It's my honor to introduce our guest for the evening, our very own Chris with a K. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm feeling humble after that introduction. Thank you.
You should be.
All right. Now we have. Do we still have another guest? Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I got
One more.
distracted by the overlay there. But our next guest is it's his first season here, and he finds himself captaining his team all the way to the playoffs in a show-stopping run. And not only that, but he recently participated in the All-Star event representing the Stealth Conference in the Expert League. I'd like to give a warm welcome to the one and only Faislo. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Maybe
I'm sorry.
the All Stars didn't need to be mentioned, but the playoffs. The playoffs. I'm proud about that. I'm doing great.
Man, you're gonna hate our first segment, as our first segment is gonna be a recap of the All Star action that just happened this previous weekend. I'm ready to kick things off whenever you guys are.
I
Absolutely.
I suggest we start getting the brooms out. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. First things first, Origin League, the Stealth Conference, getting the win over Courage in a sweep. That Stealth League, or that Stealth Conference, consisting of Devil Jacob, For Real, and Austin Dalasan. So, any comments about that All Star event?
I'll start us off based off of what I'm seeing here. It looked a little bit one-sided, but definitely the Courage Conference definitely tried to put up a fight. I got to watch that entire thing. They tried their best, just was not enough against that literal all-star team of Devil Jacob, For Real, and Austin Dollar Sign.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
what I know. Oh, go ahead,
Cool.
Rana.
Go on, no, Faislo, please take it away.
I've only seen like Devil Jacob really, because I've played with him in a couple matches, and he's actually not bad for Origin. Like when I heard he was Origin, I was surprised. But, like he's actually really good for only 10-8 salary.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. And I have to say as well. I mean, we've already said it, but that stealth team was put together just the stars aligned, and it's an absolutely incredible stacked team. So they clearly played very well with a 3-0 victory. And I mean, but on Courage side, we do actually have a couple of players who have been in the league for quite a while. We're talking about Ethereal Doom, Slammermoth as well, being around for a little bit of time. So maybe I would have expected it to be a little closer in game wise than it was. But still, big up to Stealth Conference in Origin because they smashed it.
Chris, do you have any words for the Origin League All-Star event?
Well, it really wasn't that fair of a thing because of the fill-ins. Like, I mean, it's definitely good practice for Slammermoth going into the playoffs because of that new format that they have. So he did really good against Devil Jacob, who won the 1v1 Titans and lost in the 1v1 to him. He didn't look bad for his performance.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely pretty true there. The Courage Conference suffering a little bit from so many sub-ins having to come in. But with that being said, let's move on to the Adept League with the Stealth Conference taking on the Courage Conference, which also resulted in a sweep, but this time for the Courage Conference, sweeping Stealth straight out of the event. It was a pretty one-sided affair there. KJ, I'll kick things off with you. What do you got to say about the Adept League?
I mean, I had the fortunate ability to be able to cast most of the Adept All Star games, and I'll just put it out there. MVP was Southpaw. Very first 15 seconds, man comes out, hits a double tap. Hasn't played a single game all season, and that's how you're going to start the All Star event, the All Star games. Holy crap! Either way, the rest of those games, absolute bangers. They were so much fun to watch and so much fun to cast. So this the Courage Conference for Adept definitely once again proving to be the stronger conference.
Who'd like the rock next?
Yeah, sure, why not? I'll take a swing. Man, this Adept League, just looking at looking at just their standings is really close. And I don't think that was very well reflected in the individual skill level of this All-Star event, because when it comes down to the playoffs, it's the teams that are really going to connect more. So even though the Courage Conference swept Stealth, that's not going to be a telltale sign of what happens in the playoffs, because you're not playing with those players. You're playing against them. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Barco, did you? Oh, I'm sorry to cut off.
Oh, I'm having a bad night already. Yeah, I just wanted to pop in and say that Southpaw, obviously been around for very long time, and I apparently played out of his mind as he seems to do in the big games. So big up Southpaw. We love you in this chat, that's for sure, and in the league as well.
Now, last but certainly not least, Faisal, were you able to catch any of that Adept League action?
I caught the very beginning of it, yeah, but I was impressed by Southpaw's double tap as well. Like, honestly, for like Adept League, like there's some really good players. Like you have Southpaw, you have who's on the unicorns? Which one was I looking at? You have the yeah, you have Griffin. Like I've seen all these players play. Like they're actually like really good for Adept League, for like these lower souths. Like actually really good players.
Yeah, one name that I see that wasn't mentioned was the Postman, who I feel like kind of stole the show for that Adept All-Star event. I know Southpaw coming in, firing on all cylinders was pretty wild to watch, but Postman really went in there, got things done, took down the 1v1 against Unsung, really showing what he brings to the table for the Owls. I'm definitely excited to see him going forward into the playoffs.
And I'm 90% sure that Adept All Stars was sponsored, but what do I know?
Remind me again, who was the sponsor for that?
That was Bob's Ramen. Go eat at Bob's Ramen restaurant in Neo Tokyo, please. They have some really good ramen noodles for all of your ramen needs. Bob's Ramen. They got the ramen.
Someone give this man a job. Someone.
All right. Well, with that sponsor out of the way, let's move on into Expert League. So, for Expert League, we had the Courage Conference once again with another sweep, over the stealth conference, with a little bit higher skill level, higher uh talent there. I definitely didn't think this one would be a sweep, but Courage went and got the job done. What do you guys think?
Faisal, what do you think?
I was gonna hopefully not be called on, uh, but I'm definitely not too happy about that. But life goes on.
Life goes on. I mean, I had the joy of casting this particular game, or pain, as I should say, with our wonderful guest. Um, but it was a really tight affair for most of it. What we on the casting booth kind of really talked about was Busy coming in with the 1v1 game kind of didn't have a lot of pressure on him because Mythicality was the player he was against, and that kind of looked a bit like a mismatch to us, and Mythicality looked like he was gonna he's a ones player, like he I think he played in the ones tournament, um and did very well. So the fact that Busy came through, won that 1v1, we were taken aback really on the casting table, but that goes to show in expert, it's such an even playing field that a lot of the players in there, it depends on the day, how they're playing and who shows up. And on that day, Courage showed up, but it could easily have been a stealth win as well if it was a different day. So really exciting Rocket League to watch, and really interesting moving forward into the playoffs for sure.
And I mean, I think you really hit the nail on the head there with it literally is any given day. So,
Mm.
Tyler, Drax, and Busy could have been having a really good day, while Mythicality, Jaquittal, and Faisal may not have been having the most on day. When it comes to the All Star games, it's sometimes really hard to find that middle ground with whoever you're playing with. So for Tyler, Drax, and Busy to be able to find that and be able to work together as well as what they did to be able to come out of this with a sweep. It just really is a testament. And Rhino, as you said, it was close. It wasn't like absolute blowouts. So, both teams, both Stealth and Courage, did a very good job here. Definitely representing the absolute top tier talent that we do have in the Expert League.
And just to back off of that, KJ, I think there was a lot of questions going into the Expert League about what is really the top team, because you look at the top four right now: Monkeys, Hornets, Penguins, Eagles. They're all, their respective thing is tied 8-2 and then 7-3. So there isn't really like a confirmed like who is the dominant team right now. There is a lot of stipulation as to who is the best player, because you got players like on the Monkeys, Jack and Frank, who have been getting better, and then you got Cyborg Ted, who was the runner up to the 1v1 Titans at the beginning of the season, who lost to Mythicality, and Mythicality lost to Cyborg Ted's teammates. So there's a bunch of diversification when it comes to how these players are actually playing in the
It's
season.
also me.
Yes, Faisla was there too. Here's your participation medal.
Oh man.
Uh,
Oh, he
Hey.
went straight for the jugular on that one.
Yikes.
well,
Oh,
between all of you, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Chris, just be careful because the elite predictions are coming later in the show, and and
Okay.
whatever you say
Oh,
comes back.
I won my All Stars event, so I'm okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
well, between everybody's 2 cents, I think we covered and wrapped up Expert League pretty well there, especially off Rhino's like pretty long-winded talk about
I'm
that.
just doing a job here, man. That's all
Oh,
it
and
is.
you're doing the best job. Okay. All right. Let's get into Star League, where we had Stealth Conference able to finally break the curse, break the sweeping trend that was going on in our All Star event. They were able to secure themselves a single win uh, against Courage. So that means, Courage obviously took the dub, taking out Stealth Conference 4-1. And I believe that one victory coming off of a 1v1 in L versus Laggy Puppy, if I'm
Yeah,
remembering correctly.
I think you are absolutely, because we casted that game,
Yeah. Yes,
and
we did.
it was well, it was a game. it was a series that happened. What exactly what happened is yet to be determined, because in those 5 games we saw a hoops game played, and we also saw a snow day game being played. But I believe one was chosen by Courage and one was chosen by Stealth. I can't remember exactly. Chris may have more information than me on the choices. But yeah, we had a snow day picked by Stealth when Courage had 2 Blizzard wizards on their team, I believe. And yeah, it was a trip. It was a trip, but Courage coming out as the victors in the end, super fun to cast, I have to say. Going from the Expert League to the Star League, just complete change of pace, but that was good for me. Chris, as the person who kind of saw those picks coming in, what was going through your mind at the time?
Well, it was a little bit unconventional with the map picks. Star League, Esto had to leave. He was on hotspot actually for that first game, and Cheese wasn't around, and there was no replacements at the time. So we're like, okay, yeah, we'll have some fun with this. They kind of earned it, and Stealth picked both of those extra modes. They picked the hoops one thinking they would win because Dark is SSL in hoops. Well, he got beat. And then they picked Snow Day. And Shade is pretty good at Snow Day, as it seems. And Laggy Puppy, also our Christmas Clash event winner, didn't play in it, however. But Shade was also the runner up to that. So, I don't know what Stealth was thinking. They were kind of doomed to the start because the talk about Courage Conference already being the best teams in the Star League compared to their Stealth counterparts is very, it kind of proves how lopsided the Star League is.
I I have to agree, and I actually pulled up the website for all of this, and it's semi lopsided, but you could definitely tell where a lot of the strongest players are. But for me, I actually got to catch a little bit of this series, and for me, probably the match of the night seemed to be that 1v1 between L and Laggy Puppy, because they were just going back and forth, trading blows, and it really speaks to how much Laggy Puppy has improved and how much L has improved. So, I mean, it definitely going to be players to watch if they return next season, but definitely going to be players to watch during the playoffs this season. I am really excited to see what these guys have to offer.
Faisal, were you able to catch that Star League?
I did. I saw the 1v1 because I was rooting for Laggy throughout the entire thing. Like, honestly, I remember seeing L for the first time, him playing, and like I remember being bullied by his friends. But yeah, both of them are incredible players. Like, and I was surprised by the result too.
with everybody talking about the 1v1. I don't know about you guys. That 1v1 was good and entertaining to watch from a traditional sense, but I think about overall entertainment, I really enjoyed that hoops match of what was it? It was Shade and Laggy taking on
Dark.
L and Dark, right?
Alan Dark, yeah, that was right.
Yeah, that game went to overtime in hoops.
It
It
did.
was like
It did. That was the first overtime we had of the night as well, and I was like, "Oh, it's in hoops."
it was the first
So
time
good.
the conference was choosing an extra mode to be for the All-Star event. And then the fact that it went all the way to overtime really was a fun to watch. Me sitting there in the casting booth alongside Rhino.
Yeah,
But
It was great fun. I agree.
and Tunlink was there, and so was Gamer Gabe. So
Yes, they were.
there. Okay. All right, Chris, I did your thing. I gave him the
Everyone's getting their
participation.
participation medals today. Let's go.
I do have to say, actually, you're right. We haven't mentioned either of those two yet, and I just want to bring up Gabe real quick because he had an insane game in that threes game from memory. He played really, really well. It was either in the threes or the twos. I can't remember which one it was, but he played incredibly, incredibly well in that game that he played. So, big up him because he came in as one of the lower sal players, and he was insane.
yeah, I think it was in the 3v3 where Gamer Gabe got, I think it was a hat trick, and then in the twos
Yeah.
he teamed up with Shade, and Shade scored something ridiculous like 4 or 5 goals.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Shade doing shade things again.
Shade doing shade things.
All right. Now I'm ready to move on to Elite League if you guys are ready.
Oh,
we
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I guess if we have to.
there were some more extra mode shenanigans as Stealth Conference finally breaking the mold, breaking that losing streak that Stealth Conference had going on, and they were able to take down a Courage Conference. Looks like we're missing a score here, but it was 3, I believe, to 1, right?
Mhm.
Chris with the K might be able to help me out there.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
3-1.
3-1. So that Stealth Conference team consisting of our very own Chris with a K, Miles, and Moifin, while the Courage Conference was Folly, Feed, and Murdical. What do you guys got?
No, I'm starting this off because this is a load of crap. You want to know why? This is why I'm angry. All right, this right here is why I'm angry. I did not get a chance to see any of the elite games. I was not able to. I was working at the time. Chris, this is the Miles that you're talking that I gave a bunch of crap to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. These guys play together consistently. They belong to a separate team together. Chris with a K, Miles, Moifin. Check them out. It's called Incognito Mode. You're welcome, Chris. This is kind of hard to beat. A team that is constantly playing with each other, communicating super well. They call each other bozos all the time. It doesn't matter. They still find a way to win. Not really too much of a surprise. Volley, Feed, and Merkle. I don't really know how much playtime they have together. I know Feed is consistently playing. Folly has a lot of things going on. And I have not really heard much about Merkle. But even still, it's really hard to beat a team that plays together all the time.
KJ just wants a raise.
My rant is over.
Well, KJ, let me contradict you there because there was only one legitimate 3v3 match. And well, I haven't been playing as much Rocket League as I would like to. And
Well, that's because you're focused on roller champions.
well, exactly. But that's besides the point. We haven't been putting in the hours. We played one legitimate threes match. And the team of the Gators who was in the All-Star event lost their 2v2. I was undefeated in my games. So,
Oh,
But was the undefeated in your games the 3v3?
3v3, 1v1, and drop shot.
Oh, well, imagine that 3v3, Chris with a K.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have the hours, if you have the right teammates and you have people that you can communicate with, it is very difficult to beat that, especially if the rotations are on point and if everything is going the way that you need it to go. It is a very tough ask for anybody.
If you heard our comms, I could tell you there was no communication except for Moifin yelling, "What the blank are my teammates doing, man?"
wow.
So,
Yeah,
which
But
is
that's
90%
normal
of the
comms for
comms.
you guys.
You want
that
you
is
want to
normal
hear our comms? That's basically what it is. It's Moifin mauling and me and Miles laughing just beyond belief. And yeah, that's how you play competitive.
You heard it here first, folks. So if you want to rank up and succeed in competitive Rocket League, just talk
Have a
crap about each other.
have a dedicated Mulder on your team. That's the way to win.
Amazing.
Did you guys have anything to add to
Oh,
the?
Debbie, we can't follow that. Just move on, bro. Nothing that can be said after that. What do you mean?
I am good with that. Are you guys ready for pitchforks? Because this next segment, I think, is going to be really fun and very upsetting for some community members.
I'm not ready for pitchforks. I prefer pitchforks. Excuse me, I can't speak. I've been in a struggle for the last 5 days.
Falling apart.
I am ready for fire. I am ready for torches to be thrown at me.
Mhm.
All right. So for this next segment, we have our very own brackets that we are going to discuss and roast each other about. You guys in chat are welcome to roast
Here
us
we
for
go.
our fraud brackets as well. But yeah, I'm gonna start. We're gonna start things off in Origin League. I'm gonna start off with my bracket. You guys can dissect me, destroy me, whatever. So for my Origin League bracket, I have the Vipers taking down the Huskies, and I'm sure some of you guys were aware this match actually took place last night, where the Vipers did indeed take down the Huskies in a best of set, going the distance, playing 8 full games, where the Vipers ended up on top. So I'm already a quarter or a third of the way there. Then I have the Eagles taking down the Griffins. No bias there or anything. I've seen the Eagles kind of grinding a bit. I know the Griffins are really good, but I believe in the boys. And then finally, I have the Vipers taking on the Eagles, and that is certainly going to be an interesting matchup. But I do think that the Vipers might be able to take this win away from the Eagles.
That's a fair bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think many people on this panel actually disagree. The only person who's got a different one is
Me.
KJ.
And okay. So before you guys all flame me, I know that the Eagles have done a lot. They've improved so much. That team of Slammer Moth, Debbie, help me out here.
Water Dragon,
Water
Anton.
Dragon and Anton, they have improved immensely. I've played some in-houses with them. I've, played some games with them. They have improved from I don't even know what to where they are now, and the fact that they're in the playoffs definitely speaks to what they can do. The only reason why I picked the Griffins over the Eagles is because of this whole best of set. I think that the Griffins have a very strong team, and even if they play that lowest salary player, it may not make that much of a difference because of the speed. Now, granted, it is, you could end up finding yourself in a 1v2 situation, but even still, I think that I believe it's Angel of the Bronx and Bob Ross are able to. I really do think that they have the skills needed to be able to possibly be in that 1v2 situation.
It was the Eagles who broke the Griffins on like
Yeah, but you know what? We saw that last year with the Colts and the Huskies, and then the Colts won. So
Okay, fair point. And Rhino, Chris with a K, do you guys want to talk about your brackets?
I think you covered most of the stuff really. We have very similar brackets. I have the Vipers taking it in that final game versus what I believe to be the Eagles, but I do also think that it could go either way between the Eagles and the Griffins. I think that one's kind of a bit of a toss up, but I think the Vipers are going to take this one this season.
Yeah. I actually disagree with KJ's a little bit because of the format. Because we saw, for anyone that missed that Vipers Huskies match, that C player was the standout performer for the teams on the Vipers and the Huskies. Wally OK and Toxic Drip did phenomenal and probably better than their A lineup players. They performed well. So if it's gonna matter to that C player, the Griffins got, and I'm sorry, Allie, one of the worst in the FDL history based off of stats. So it's gonna be a very uphill battle for the Griffins because Bob Ross and Angel, they're good players, but they can only play a one best of 3. So they've really got to be on if they want to win.
Ali, I would never disrespect you like that.
Yeah, I can't believe the disrespect coming for
Just-
Player of the Week and
Would
All-Star Origin Alley.
Hey, hold on, Chris. Not to steal your thunder though. She does have the second highest shooting percentage on the team, even only taking 10 shots. Just saying, she shot 50%.
Statistically, if you never shoot, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more skewed,
but she's also at an even 500, so she's there to be. She can still make the plays. So it doesn't necessarily mean that bottom player is the worst. Everybody has their own given day. And
Yeah,
that's the reason why I picked the Griffins.
and if the Griffins Eagles match follows what the Vipers and Huskies did, maybe the C player comes out and ends up being the top performer.
Who knows?
I would love to see that.
That would be
I'm
great.
not gonna lie. And Chris, you can't lie and say that you wouldn't love to see that too, because I heard you last night whenever it came to Wally OK. I heard everything you said.
Damn, KJ picking up receipts.
Well, here's the difference between Wally and Allie. Wally has scored more than 1 goal in a series. Allie's got 5 on record for 6 series.
Hey,
And I'll leave it at that.
Man, I shot 32% and I helped the Hydras get to 4 and 6. What?
You did.
What?
That's
Like,
fine.
what do you want?
Shoot better. I don't know.
I'm ready to move on before Chris and I get into a fight.
I just want to pick up Faislo. What do you think
Yeah,
about this?
we gotta get Faislo in this too.
Yeah.
I'm going with the majority here. Like
Yeah,
honestly, like honestly, it's just pretty obvious.
Oh wow, obvious. Okay.
Okay.
The biggest Origin watcher, but I've seen the Eagles play. Like, honestly, I think this is just Eagles win, and then well, obviously Vipers, but like Eagles win against Griffins.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
I can't wait for KJ to have bragging rights.
Oh
Pain.
man, what I'm really looking forward to are like the rest of these brackets. But
Yeah.
yeah, so speaking of which, let's move on into a depth league where I'll kick off, my bracket. So in round 1, I have the Eagles slipping past the top of the cream of the crop Gators. Sorry, Ken. I know.
Bias.
Hey, I'm just saying, if Bondo and Vlo go on the pitch and Bondo decides not to joke around and actually remembers to tie his shoes, I think he can get it done against the Gators. After that,
Oh.
I have
Oh.
the
Sorry. Go ahead.
After that, I have the Hornets taking down the Owls. Now the Owls with Postman, I think, are really good, and honestly, this game could go either way, and I feel like this really shouldn't be a round 1 matchup right there. This could potentially be a finals or semifinals matchup, in all honesty. But someone has to go down, and I think the Hornets with Semphis are going to be able to take down the Owls and move on into the semifinals to face off against the Eagles. After that, I have the Unicorns taking on the Colts, and the Colts have a really strong player with Crusher, but I think with the fact with the way that his team is structured where he's like a 12-9 and then he's followed along but alongside 2 11-2s, and not that they're bad players, but I don't think when it comes down to playoffs facing these other top tier teams that they will be able to find the same plays that they were able to in the regular season. And I think the Unicorns are going to take advantage of that and move on into the semifinals. After that, we have the Coyotes taking on the Dragons. And the Dragons have been heating up a little bit, but I feel like they're a little bit too unpredictable, and their play style is a little bit open to counterattacks because of the big flashy plays that Squashy usually goes for. And I think the Coyotes on the other side of the field kind of heating up with Unsung and the rest of them, that they are going to be able to exploit that weakness and they'll be able to move on into the semifinals. And then for these semifinals, I have the Hornets taking down the Eagles. Now, I know I said, if Bondo shows up, that it'll be a good game for him, but I think that Bondo tends to get a little bit too ball chasey at times, and I think in this game, the Hornets are going to be able to keep it competitive, keep that pressure on Bondo, which is going to leave Vlo to try to pick up that slack. And Vlo's a phenomenal player, but I don't think he's going to get it done against the Hornets. And the Hornets move on into the finals. Then on the other side of the bracket, the Unicorns versus the Coyotes. And I think the Coyotes are a strong team. but I think the Unicorns have what it takes to take them down, and I think we're gonna have a Hornets versus Unicorns finals where I think the Hornets will take it all in the end.
That's a bad take, Debbie.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a real
Okay,
bad take.
here,
real sus.
Chris, I got you. I got you on this one, man. The
No, you
fact that
don't.
you really think that Bondo is not going to have fun with a game. The man last season played with a full-on clown car. Like, you can't tell me that this man sometimes forgets to even just put his shoes on, let alone tie them. I really don't think that the Eagles are going to be able to get past the Gators because Ken has just improved so much from the beginning of the season to now. He's got the record behind him to show it. However, I will say this, that based off of season 4, the Gators did choke it whenever they got into playoffs. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup to see because of the Gators being eliminated round 1 last season. Will we see the same thing this season? And believe it or not, for those of you that don't remember, the Gators actually lost to the Eagles last season 4-0. So it's something to kind of keep in the back of your mind, but I really do think that the Gators are going to be able to bring this one out.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I-
I
Chris,
have
I
to
see
agree.
that look.
I'm gonna
Go on, Rhino. Go on.
I'm just gonna quickly say that I have to agree. I mean, you look at the team of Kin and even for Autumn, and you just have to believe that it's kind of theirs to lose this particular season. So I'm kind of I know Chris is gonna say something that's very contradictory to that. But for me personally, looking at it from a results and stats point of view, maybe not from previous seasons or whatever, but yeah, I truly believe that if the Gators play as well as they can over the course of 3 games, they take the title without too many problems.
So there's a
Here we go.
few things that's weird about this Adept League. Gators and Unicorns are their number 1 seeds out of their respective conferences, and they've also got the they have 0.7 cap space to work with. They're playing with a very low B and C player. Unprecedented, but they have done really well throughout this season. Can you disrespect the Gators for that? I I think when it comes to the Gators, because they've beaten the Hornets both times that they have played, the Hornets have only lost to the Gators. But the Gators lost to the Colts and the Rams, which is a play style clash that the Gators cannot handle. When teams put up the pressure, Gators kind of crumble at it. Eagles are going to put on a lot of pressure. 007 Bondo has scored the most goals this season. If they win, I have the Owls going to face them next. And the Owls are just as aggressive as the Eagles are. So it's going to be a very tall task for the Gators. But I just have to believe, like what Rhino said, it's Kin's season. This is the best lineup he has had. We thought last season was the time when he got the number 1 seed again. And it was with Crusher, the man we're talking about on the Colts that is a very good striker. But if they run into those complications, it's not going to go over well for them. They have to try to figure out how to play against teams that are more aggressive than them, because the Gators, I don't think, are known as an aggressive team. They really tend to let you do your own thing, but I think that's also what makes them dangerous, because they've got an 8-2 record on that side, and it's brutal over there. I mean, for the Gators to use this kind of play style and it actually work in the game of twos is concerning for a lot of the Courage teams when you're going into this. So I am, I named my bracket Kin for the win, but it's going to be the hardest bracket they've ever had. And I do believe that Kin and the Gators can make it.
Yeah, I like to also believe in Ken. He's a good, solid player in a depth league. He's been there for a while. He's a veteran of FDL.
You're biased. Shut up.
Okay. Rhino, what are your 2 cents here for these adept brackets?
Uh, I think it's going to be tough. I think Chris makes some really good points, but I also noticed that Chris has also completely just gone with the Gators going right the way through to the final in his bracket anyway. So I don't know what to trust anymore. I'd actually be quite interested to hear what Faislo is thinking right now, because I don't think we see his bracket in front of us. So I'd like to see who he has taking this one.
Well, what do I say? Does it matter? Like honestly, like I agree with Chris's points a lot, but like I still don't believe that Gators like. And I'm not saying that I don't believe. I'm just thinking like I think Unicorns will win this. Like honestly, like
Ooh.
they're a really good team. Like with Postman. I mean not Unicorns. Owls. I said Owls because I really like Owls play style. But like the Owls versus Hornets match, like that's gonna be like very very tough. But I have Owls winning like the whole thing. Like I'm an Owl believer.
Okay. So would you say that you agree with KJ's bracket the most?
Yeah. Except for the fact he has Eagles over Gators. I mean, yeah.
Well, I had
No,
Eagles
no,
over
that was
Gators.
Debbie. Yeah, you're right. I
Yeah.
agree with KJ. KJ all the way through.
Wow.
Like,
All right. Are you guys ready to wrap up
I
Adept League and move on into Expert?
I do
Yes,
want to
sir.
say one final thing about the Adept League brackets. Is Chris, I understand where you're coming from with the unicorns thing, but with the way that the Dragons have been playing this season, I don't know I don't know what the record looks like between the unicorns and dragons, but I really do believe that the unicorns are going to get past the Colts with not necessarily ease, but they're going to be able to do a lot against that Colts team that just barely squeaked into the playoffs. Um, and I do believe that the Dragons will get past the Coyotes with almost no problem. They may have some issues here and there, but ultimately I do believe that that game may end up going to 7. I really think that the Dragons are going to be able to bring it back down, slow the pace down, and be able to take out the Unicorns and move on. And I know there's going to be a lot of people in chat that are going to be really happy about this, but I did pick the Owls to win it all.
Yeah, I have to say, KJ, you make a good point there, because actually in both regular season games, the Dragons beat the Unicorns in week 3 and as late as week 11. So they have a very recent win over them. That if that match comes true, then that could be very, very interesting for a semi-final for sure.
And just to round up everything for Adept, I have the Hornets taking it all. KJ has the Owls taking it all. Rhino, who do you have taking the whole thing?
Gators.
Gators. And Chris, I assume Gators as
Oh
well.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Kin for the win.
Just so our viewers can keep track of
For the
everything.
win.
I'm ready to move into Expert League. How about you
Wait,
guys?
who's Faislo
Faislo.
going to pick?
Faislo.
Oh,
Owls.
yeah.
Owls.
Oh,
Yeah, he
okay,
said
okay,
Owls.
okay, cool.
All right.
Owls.
Let's get into the bread and butter of at least 3 of the cast members here. Expert League. So with Expert League for
I'll
my
leave.
round
It's okay.
one, or you know what, KJ, why don't you kick it off? I've kicked off the last
Ooh.
2.
Oh man, you're killing me here. All right, so for my own specific one, we've got some really interesting matchups. The Penguins and the Monkeys sitting respectively at the number 1 and 2 seed. For myself, between the Hornets and the Seagulls, I really do believe that the Seagulls are going to be able to get past the Hornets team. They have been in a little bit of a struggle the past couple weeks. And then we have the Eagles taking on the Coyotes. That Eagles team looks absolutely incredible. They have looked dominant over the past couple weeks. They are a very tough team to beat. Penguins taking on the Seagulls. Then after that, the Penguins are going to be able to come out on top. Penguins sitting 8-2. Kind of hard to pick against my boy Cyborg Ted, Busy, and Fluffy Knight. They have looked absolutely incredible all season. Monkeys taking on the Eagles for that second round. I really, and I'm sorry, Chris, I really
No, you're
think the
not.
team of Tyler and Washed together have just absolute amazing, or at least really good chemistry. Tyler and Debbie, Debbie being on the Eagles, really good chemistry. And even Tyler and, well, we call him Patty P, but ACP 420, the chemistry is there, and I really do think that they will be able to take down the team of help me out here, Chris, Frank and Jaquittal.
Mm-hmm.
Winning it all, though, I do have the Eagles winning all of it. I think they are able to beat the Penguins for a second time. And yeah, that's really all there is for me to say about that.
I have to say this is my favorite bracket. No bias. I just think you make really good points here.
Couldn't even say it with a
Yeah.
straight face, Debbie. Couldn't even.
I can't believe that your twos are exactly the same. Your two brackets are exactly the same.
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy.
That's
But
impressive.
as I was
Cringe,
gonna read my
cringe,
bracket,
cringe,
I peeped down and saw KJ's was like exactly the same, and I was like, oh, you
cringe.
know what?
It is cringe. It is cringe
So,
considering you're both completely wrong.
Yes, Rhino. Yes.
what's your take on it, Rhino?
I got the Penguins winning it all this season, man. I mean, look. Okay,
Nobody
I'm
likes the
just
monkeys, Chris. I'm sorry.
it's
Oh, I've got
look.
facts.
I've
Don't
I've
worry.
got the monkeys in the final. Okay, Chris. I have got them there, and I think that team is incredible. I really do. Especially I believe it's Jaquittal just played incredibly most of the season. But when you look at the stats for this Penguins team, Busy, Cyborg, Ted, and Fluffy Knight, those guys have been putting in performance after performance, week in, week out. They've only lost 2 games all season to the Hydras and to the Eagles. I personally do not see them playing either of those two teams in this playoff bracket. Obviously, the Hydras aren't even here, and the Eagles would have to make it all the way through to the final. No disrespect, Debbie, of course. It was a big win in the last week for you guys. But I think the Monkeys go into the final, and therefore I just think the Penguins take it all. That's my take.
Oh man.
Chris,
You
let's hear
got
from
2
you.
upset people here, and we haven't even talked about the Coyotes yet with Faislo, so
Sorry,
you're gonna hear
Faislo.
more
Oh,
from
yeah.
him than me.
Yeah, you guys are saying like all these people are wrong. Like, no, all of you guys are wrong. Like, honestly, like what you guys don't know is like it was KJ talking about how Chris like is all friends with like his team and All Stars, blah blah blah. I've known Gucci 2 years now, so like our chem getting better and better every day. Like, honestly, we sweep every game, no doubt.
Okay.
Okay, that's a lot of doubt considering you're on the side of the Monkeys. But I did have you winning first round. I will tell you that. I have you guys winning over the Eagles because, well, it's just a season of, stats. I think the stats tell the story for all of this, Monkeys, 156 goals for them. They have the best offense in the league, okay? Let's not disrespect them on that. Secondly, this is the first time Monkeys come away with the #1 seed in a league, okay? Domination right there.
But they're
Frank
not.
and
They're
Jack,
number 2.
I don't know if you've seen their clips being posted to the Twitter, to the TikTok, but these guys not only are winning in fun and, in a dominating fashion, they're having fun with it. It is all the makeup of a championship caliber team on the Monkeys. Penguins, they're very good. Cyborg Ted got picked up because of his performance in the preseason, so he's done great. Eagles, their 2 new pickups, sure, they're good, but they're not great, okay? They're 7-3. Who did they lose to? Hydras, and then they lost to the Penguins, and then they lost to the Hydras. Wait, no. Who did they lose to the third time? Oh, Dragons. They lost to a 3-7 team and a 4-6 team. They didn't even make playoffs, okay? They falter. Monkeys, they lost to the Colts, who are 6-4. Better than the team that would have made playoffs for the Seagulls. And they lost to the Hornets the first time round. But they beat the Hornets in the end. They're coming off a 5-game win streak, just like the Eagles, and the Monkeys have the stats to take it all the way. Now, I think the Hornets bounce back because Ant is also that unlucky person where his teams falter at the end of the season for whatever reason. That week
For the
7,
second
8
year in a
curse.
row.
Yeah, exactly. And Monkeys have been first rounded for the last few times, but they broke that curse last season, so we don't have that chip on our shoulder anymore.
But they got second rounded.
Yeah, KJ, you missed playoffs by 1 match, so you're relevant over there, okay?
Oh, here we go.
You already know I suck. At least I'm willing to admit it.
Well, and that's why you're not willing to admit how great the Monkeys are this season in the Expert League.
I'm not disagreeing that the Monkeys haven't been a great team. I just don't think that, just because you go based off of stats, we literally all talked about how it's any given day. The Monkeys could have a really bad first series,
which I doubt really much.
It's gonna be a very tight series. I will give you that, but I really think that the Eagles are able to pull it out because they have been able to pull it out from week to week to week to week.
I do want to pull out one more piece of information. Chris was very, very quick to say that the Monkeys have the best offense in the league, and that is true. But they also have the second worst defense with
You scored
140
more goals. You don't need to worry about defense.
140 goals allowed. That is the second worst in the entire Expert League. So look, Mr. Statsman over there, I just want to say that's the case. I'm putting a whole case
I didn't
forward
leave
here.
that out. It's just you score goals to win the game. See-ball, hit ball.
The monkey mentality.
Yeah, I just find it funny how there's a goal difference of 16 that, other teams are sat on goal differences of like 33 and 30 and 29, and that's just a bit more impressive. That's all I'm saying.
Eagles differential's only plus 12.
Yeah,
We beat the Eagles in that.
I'm not saying it. As I say, I'm not saying it is, but I'm also saying that the Penguins are going to win. That's what that.
He sounds angry, Rhino. He sounds angry.
If I were to be honest, like not be biased, I would say Monkeys win this. I think.
Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
And he's on that side of the bracket, so
yeah, right.
You can't say those bad words, Chris.
I didn't say bad words.
No, I was just reminding you that you can't say those bad words.
Oh, I know. I hear one coming up, but
One thing that I find pretty interesting about our brackets is that it seems like we're pretty split on who is going to be the victor between the Hornets and the Seagulls. Me and KJ having the Seagulls getting the win over the Hornets, but Rhino and Chris having the Hornets taking the win over the Seagulls. Salo, what do you think? Who do you think comes out on top between those two teams?
Hornets and which one? Seagulls? Oh, Seagulls, 100%.
Seagulls.
Ooh.
Okay, how come?
Drax. Honestly, when I scrimmed him, like I was surprised that he was only in an expert. Like he's actually really good. And I had Tyler on my team too, which is like undeniably like the best player and like honestly like one of the best players in expert. And they still beat us with Drax and Reaper versus me and Tyler.
I couldn't hear a thing.
It's a very valid point to be brought up is with Drax. Drax has been an absolute beast.
Yeah, like Drax is. We were scrimming, and it was me and Tyler versus Drax and Reaper, and they still won with Drax like leading, and Reaper wasn't too bad either. Like Reaper did really well that scrim, but like Drax popped off, like did so many things, and I had Tyler on my team.
I had Tyler on my team last night during a scrim.
Scrims don't translate into games. I know many teams that scrim and then just completely fall apart in actual league matches. I mean, there is kind of a reason that the Seagulls are only 5-5 making playoffs.
All right. Well, I think we all made some pretty good points about our brackets. Let's round this up for Expert League and kind of power through Star and Elite League. Now, for Expert, I had the Eagles taking it all. KJ has the Eagles taking it all. Rhino has the Penguins taking it all, correct?
Yes, sir.
Chris has the Monkeys taking it all. Faislo said that, in an unbiased opinion, that he has the Monkeys taking it as well. Now, I'm ready to move on into Star League.
I think there's going to be a fight between me and Chris.
Let's go.
KJ,
not another one, please.
This whole time.
No, I think this one's going to be an ugly one, though.
All right, Chris, take us through your bracket. What do you got?
I've got chaos, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute mayhem among the. This is the Star League, okay? Literally anything has. It's all been out the window from week one, okay? No one expected anything to happen. I didn't expect the Monkeys to make playoffs, okay? But here we are, due to some circumstances around the Vipers. But Monkeys made it, so that's fun. But I've got absolute mayhem making it. And I think it all starts with people looking at the Huskies versus the Dragons at the bottom of the bracket, because the Dragons are the number 1 seed and Huskies have only played 6 series this season. So, it's utter chaos for this Star League. And I definitely want to see a good old match between Yeet, who has made it to the playoffs or the championship twice on his own, and his whole franchise last season and hasn't won. Yeet and Shade, man, these two are boneheads, but I think this is finally their season that they can pull it out. And I think that the Griffins, with their roster of Tunlink and Komantix, is a dark horse in this entire thing. Let's not forget that the Griffins in the final week decimated the Hydras. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, are calling this Hydras team the best in the league. The Griffins dismantled them. And I heard rumors that it was not pretty in the chat. So, I think this Griffins team is going to be taken not as seriously and are really going to make some waves. And the Monkeys beating the Seagulls, that's just because that kind of messes with Gamer Gabe. He definitely doesn't like that, so that's just mind games going into it.
Well, that was certainly a monologue. I respect it though. I think people are missing out the fact that L is on the Hornets and he's just gonna absolutely take matters into his own hands in this postseason. I mean, the Hornets currently are in the last 6 weeks are 6-0. They have not lost since week 5 of FDL, and I do not see that stopping anytime soon. The Hydras have a fantastic team. Shade and Yeet, without question, they are brilliant players. And considering that's a 1v8 matchup, I believe that's pretty insane to go into the playoffs with that. But for me, the Hornets, I mean, even the backups of brother Saker, to me, that looks like a team that really could go on and do the business and completely take this playoff bracket by storm. I see no reason why they can't.
Me and Rhino have the same exact bracket.
Yeah, Faislo, that's great minds. That's what it is. Clearly, the two biggest brains in FDL right now, Rhino Boy and Faislo. Correct. That's no one can dispute that until we get one wrong.
Yeah, I have Coyotes going all the way, and same with Hornets. No, not all the way. I have Hornets going all the way because obviously Coyotes, but like the Hornets, I do like L. Like from the match I saw, it was Hornets versus Coyotes, and L like played really well that match. So I believe that L can carry his team all the way.
AJ, any thoughts?
Just crying on the inside.
Chris, I have become like you when it comes to Star League in the fact that I have literally followed it more than my own league because of the amount of chaos that there has been for the entire season.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, there has been a lot of chaos, especially if you actually take a look at the standings. You have, I mean, this is literally the season for Star. You've got 2 teams sitting at 8-2, 3 teams sitting at 7-3, and the last 3 teams sitting at 6-4. So it is so close. The one thing I will say that I do disagree with is I really think that team of L and Seika, with what they can do with each other on the field, finding each other in the openings, making those passing plays. I mean, just L by himself has 60 goals on 130 some shots, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna double check myself here. 60 on 130.
Mm.
That is elite level shooting. That is 46%. Chris, I took a look just to kind of compare your shooting stats with that, and you're at 34%.
And I had to play with my star team for 4 games. Well, this ain't fair.
Well, that's what
This ain't a fair comparison.
what. Okay, well then fine. Then we'll take a look at somebody else.
Wait, hang on. Didn't you win those games?
I won 2 out of 2.
Yeah.
Okay, here we'll take Feed for example. Feed has 49 goals forced on 125 shots, almost the same amount of shots, but he's only shooting 39%. How's that for a comparison?
Good comparison.
Better defense in Elite League.
Oh.
Ooh.
Sure.
Take shade.
But
Take shade.
But
why not?
But like you said, Chris, do you really need defense if you're constantly scoring goals?
Yes, you do.
Well, hey, you're the one that said that you don't.
Listen, different league, different meta.
Either way, I really do think that the Hornets take this whole thing. However, there is a couple things that I do disagree with. I think the Seagulls and Gamer Gabe do get past the Monkeys. And I know that's going to make you mad, and I don't really care.
It doesn't make me mad.
I also think that the Coyotes are going to be able to beat the Griffins. That Griffins team, yes, they absolutely decimated the Hydras. I was there for that. I casted it. But there's also some rumors besides the one that you heard is that the Hydras didn't exactly play to their full potential in that game. Don't know. Don't really care. I do think that the Coyotes are going to be able to pull upset here. And I think the Dragons are going to be able to upset the Huskies as well. Dragons, Hornets, finals. Hornets are going to be able to take it. I know. Controversial. Sorry.
It's just a default bracket. The both number 1 seeds making it to the finals. Talk about chaos, KJ. Come on, man.
Wait,
Yeah.
Sound of defeat. Oh, it's beautiful.
I have the Hydras and Dragons making it.
Elite's coming, Chris. Elite is coming.
And just to recap on everything, if you guys are ready to move on.
Yeah, hang on. We haven't actually talked about the fact that Debbie has the Hydras beating the Hornets in round 1. I don't think we talked about that.
Yeah, we chose to ignore that.
Yeah. I think
I
we
have
blew
the
over
Hydras
that.
beating the Hornets too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we ignored that one as well.
Yeah. Anyway, we move.
Hold on. You picked the Monkeys to beat the Seagulls out of spite. So your argument is invalid.
I got the Monkeys as well. To be fair, I'm on the Monkeys hype train.
Yeah, but Chris picked it out of spite, especially whenever he says because I know it makes Gamer Gabe mad. Caught in 4K.
Yeah, back it.
Well, to recap Star League, I have Hydras and Dragons in the finals, with the Dragons coming out on top. KJ, you have Hornets and Dragons in the finals. Who do you have taking the whole thing?
I have the Hornets taking the whole thing.
Okay, Rhino.
Hornets dubbing up.
All right, and Chris.
Griffins.
All right, and Faislo, who do you have taking the whole thing?
For Elite, I have Monkey. Just kidding. I have Hornets.
So good.
All right, let's move into Elite League. Now, Rhino, why don't you kick things off?
Yeah, I just want to check that everyone on the panel except for Chris has Monkeys getting round 1, right?
Yes.
Just want to confirm that.
I'll have someone clip this so when I win, you guys are all gonna look stupid, and I'm just gonna have it on repeat everywhere I go. I'll just have the soundboard there, just repeating it.
So does
Debbie,
that
I'm
mean
so
so does
happy
that
you
mean
threw
we
to me
get to clip
first.
this and blow it in your face if you do get first rounded?
Well, no,
Oh,
because then it would just be normal.
Oh, well,
Debbie,
okay then.
I am thrilled that you threw to me first because I had that lined up from the minute you said elite. I'm very, very happy about it. Moving on. Um, so we've got to look at this elite league. So I have the Gators taking out the Eagles. Moifin and Miles getting the job done for me. I also have the Owls taking out the Monkeys because Chris with a K cannot get past the first round in a playoff game. We then have the Hydras taking out the Gators and the Huskies taking out the Owls. I think the Huskies Owls game could be closer than the Hydras Gators game. I mean, the Hydras have just had an absolutely insane season. So I do not think there's any way that the Hydras are actually going to lose the Elite League crown. They've gone undefeated. I think they stay that way. That team is just absolutely nuts. So yeah, for me, Feed as Emilio, that team can't be beaten.
I think
That's all there is.
me and Rhino have the same bracket again.
Yes.
Does
See
everyone
the
have the
big
same
brains.
bracket as Rhino?
It's the big
Close.
brains, Faislo. Yeah, most people aren't far off.
I like, I like a Cinderella story. I picked the Eagles over the Gators because,
Oh.
No, you didn't.
Chris.
No, I want to tell you something. Because just
Or
Tuck.
no, never mind.
Okay.
I picked the Gators over the Eagles. My bad.
Okay, I was gonna say Tucked is out because of an injury, so they had to forfeit round 1.
Yeah. Yep. You're right.
Yikes.
The only person that has something different is Debbie. Debbie picked the Eagles over the Gators.
I did prior to
Rip.
that forfeit happening. I heard that Tyler, the super sub, who has experience in Elite League and Star League, was gonna be subbing in for the Eagles, and I just thought it would be absolutely wonderful for an expert league player to jump into an elite match and take down Moifin. So
Oh,
the
man.
Eagles getting past the gate.
Okay,
Wow.
hold on. I have
like
to
that
talk to
one.
I have to talk to Chris about this one real quick. Can you imagine Moifin's malding if Tyler and Thunder were able to beat him and Miles?
Well, me and Dark beat Moifin and Miles, and I could tell you some very choice words were had after that series, so I can't imagine what would be said and or broken if an expert league player even played against Moifin. So let's just say Moifin might not be around in the league anymore if that happened.
Moifin ain't gonna have a computer.
He ain't gonna have a lot of things.
Or a window.
Oh man, I did kind of want to see the Eagles bring up the expert sub too, but unfortunately they decided not to.
Now, what are y'all's or Faislo? We haven't heard from you. Well, what do you think?
I have Rhino's bracket. Like, honestly, it's just so obvious.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say. Yeah, I think we all have the Hydras in the finals. There, it's hard to bet against an undefeated team right now.
But if anyone can do it, I think it is the Huskies. I think if it does go Hydras Huskies as a final, I genuinely think that game is going to be a super close and super good to watch because I mean we know what Lottie Lettuce can do in this league. I think on his day he could absolutely upset this Hydras team. So I hope we get that final. No disrespect, Chris. But I if we do get that final, I think it's going to be main event of the weekend. Everyone should watch that game.
Oh, absolutely. Especially considering 3 of us have Hydras Huskies finals
Yeah,
going
right.
on.
Well, okay. Can I interject something here real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, to your point, Rhino, and you and I were a part of all 3 of the games last season between the Colts and the Huskies.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts lost the 2 regular regular season games and then came into the finals against the Huskies and swept.
Hmm.
That being said, the Huskies did end up taking a game off of the Hydras, and they won it in convincing fashion. I'm looking at it right now, and it was 8-2. All other games were 1-goal margins. Game 1, the Hydras took 3-2. Game 3 was 4-3, and Game 4 was 4-3.
Mm.
I think if it is Hydras Huskies in the finals, I really think that that's going to go to a Game 7. It just has to.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just for the content, but for the fact that both of these teams are so strong. You've got the 10-0 Hydras, and you have the same, well, at least one player returning from the Huskies that actually had the same kind of record last season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they went into the finals at 12-0.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. But I will say, Chris, if the Monkeys get past round 1, you will see me here on FDL Central next week, and I will issue a public apology.
Oh, I know. I'm sending you a T-shirt too that says "Chris is the best."
I'll wear it. I will wear it. I will actually. What I'll do is I'll put a regular shirt on, and then when FDL Central starts, I'll take the shirt on top off, so then it reveals the.
Did you Superman style rip it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go. But yeah, for me, I really think that the Hydras are going to be able to take this one. They have proven to be such a dominant team throughout the entire season, and it is very, very difficult to argue with a 30-7 game record.
Well, that's fair because I think the only better team to do it was the Eagles in season 3 when they were 30-4. This Huskies team has been locked out of the championships for 3 seasons now if they don't win it here. So there is kind of some concern, with this Huskies team, like, can they actually do it? And I don't think Azza is playing. I think it is Milio and Feed moving forward. And I would say Milio is much better than Azza. Azza has a very readable playstyle because he plays ones. It's a very different pace of play when you have them. When the first time we played Azza and Feed, and the only time, they always were winning 50s, and the other one knew where they were. With Milio and Feed, it seems like there's a lot more chaos on the field than you might expect. And I think the Huskies kind of like that chaos because Ioka has one of the most demos in the Elite League. I mean, he is everywhere on the field to be that nuisance player. It is very dangerous playing against the Huskies when they can do that. Yeah, Ioka has 34 demos inflicted.
Wow.
I have more, but I have 42. Yeah. That was funny. I don't know. I mean, your same argument for the Hydras Huskies game. The same thing happened between the Huskies and the Huskies and the Monkeys week 1.
The Huskies and the Huskies.
Yeah. Week 1. Here's the games. Game 1, 3-2, Huskies won. Game 2, 7-1, the Huskies won. Game 3, 2-7, the Monkeys won. And my favorite, Game 4 went 9-8. Yeah. So there is definitely we lost 3-1, but there is also hey, we just took it to the team that is that is in contention to actually win. So you want to bring it back to on any given day, anyone can win. Sure. There was that. Last season, you referenced the Colts taking it to the Huskies in the end. The very first week of league play, the Monkeys took the Colts to Game 5 and lost by 1. I have the potential to win. I have Easy on my team now, who is He used to be the Star League champion when he played. He left, came back, is now a 2200 ranked player.
Hey, Chris.
So,
I'd like to fact check you real quick. You guys actually swept the Colts.
What?
Week 3, you guys swept the Colts.
Last season.
Oh, you're talking last season.
Yeah.
With the team of Milio and Soares.
Yeah, we took them
who
to game
looked
5.
like they were playing with their food a little bit, but that's besides the point.
But we still took them to 5, and
That's
then
true.
It was 1 goal. Is it any given day, KJ? Are we changing our narratives like me?
No, I mean it's
that's my job, KJ.
I will continue to say this. I've said this on stream so many times. It literally is any given day. Like it doesn't matter. Chris, you could have an absolutely pop off game and end up having 2,000 score. Easy could absolutely carry you. It doesn't matter. It's any given day. It's just going to be very interesting to see how you two mesh together.
And we also beat the Owls, so.
Well,
I beat the Owls with a star player, so yeah.
But playoff Owls is
that happened.
It seems a little different.
I beat 2 playoff teams with a star player. Yeah, that was.
There's a first for everything.
Well,
in fact, wouldn't that make it more embarrassing if you actually do get first rounded?
No.
Well, I mean, you literally beat them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but I think Folly's playing, and Folly's a great player.
So wait, so hang on a minute.
Wait, are you
every narrative here, Rhino? You can't win.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not even going to try. We're already over time.
Yeah. So to round things up, I have the Hydras taking everything in Elite League. KJ, who do you got?
I also have the Hydras.
Rhino?
Hydras.
Chris?
Hydras.
And Faislo, who you got?
Hydras.
All right. So
we're all in agreement on the desk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not about how we get there. Not about how we get there. but yes.
Yeah, we do have the end result all being the same. But that is gonna wrap things up for today's episode of FDL Central. Thank you, all you wonderful viewers, for tuning in to tonight's episode. Big special thanks to Chris with a K and Faislo for coming out and dedicating some of their time to today's episode and some of their radical opinions. And big special thanks to Robot, KJ, and Rhino Boy for dedicating so much time week after week to the show and making sure that you guys have wonderful graphics to look at. Can't do this show without them. So big thanks to them. And, of course, again, thank you guys for tuning in to tonight's episode of FDL Central, your source for all things FDL. Catch us next week. It should be the same day due to playoffs extending their streaming day by 1 day. So we should be here next week on Thursday, same time, same everything. And keep an eye out for the next Player of the Week poll, as this is the first round of playoffs. So you guys will get to vote for your favorite players from this week's playoff matches. And speaking of which, we do have some more FDL action coming up. Starting off with Star League, we have the Hydras taking on the Hornets in round 1 of the Star League playoffs, starting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you tune in to see the best of Star League. That has been it from me. Thank you for tuning in.
Watch it by